Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leading rusher, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Tim in Green Bay. We may have the other guys join here in a second. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I know this, Tim. It is Friday. We made it. It's Daddy Soda time. Just cracked open a nice fresh Daddy Soda, having some Grippo potatoes. Anybody ever had Grippos in the chat? Let me know. And shout out to Grippo. Sponsor the show. I think it's more of a southern thing down here around Kentucky, Virginia, Tennessee. We can't get them in Tennessee, Tim. We got to go. Sounds like something illegal. We got to go across state line.
You got to cross the border. And
to go get these barbecue flavored potato chips. They're pretty darn good, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. Happy to be here talking some ball, man. I know we're doing a little defense heavy talk today as we proceed through the show, so I'm looking forward to that.
Absolutely, man. So here's what we got on tap, guys. We're going to hit first off just kind of a global talk. ESPN Power Index for the NFL. It's kind of like their power ranking system, and obviously people haven't released their preseason power rankings yet. Most folks haven't, so we'll hit that. We'll also talk a little Jeff Hafley scheme, as Tim was talking about, and then we're going to do Rashan Gary Chalk Talk. I think it's going to be an awesome episode. We'll see if we can get you guys and gals out of here as early as possible. But if you would, though, if this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Appreciate you making us a part of your evening. Hit that like, hit that sub. If you like daily Packers content, this is the place to be. In season, postseason, off season, doesn't matter season, right? We're always in here talking Packers and trying to break down the things that matter. You're not going to get your Mount Rushmore of pizzas and all that stuff here on this show. We nerd out with football and kind of keep things football centric. Other than the chat gets a little off the rails. I ain't gonna lie, man. So there you go. Soda knows what I'm talking about, baby. Grippo's barbecue chips, a pride of Cincinnati. So there you go, man. They are in Ohio. I do remember that. So,
okay, all right.
Yeah, we'll get you some, Tim. I'm gonna get you a bag and send it up there for sure.
Nice.
I would send one to A-Fan, but he's gonna get that barbecue seasoning all in the mustache. It ain't gonna work, man. I'm just telling you now. So. All right, let's jump into it, Tim. I'm excited about this just to kind of get our first look as we are 7 days away from quarterback reporting to camp. Let's go and dive right in to how ESPN sees the league currently. This is their NFL Football Power Index, all right? And just to kind of give you guys an idea of what this is, the Football Power Index, FPI, is a measure of team strength that is meant to be the best predictor of a team's performance going forward for the rest of the season. FPI represents how many points above or below average a team is. Projected results are based on 10,000 simulations of the rest of the season using FPI results to date and the remaining schedule. Ratings and projections update daily. So obviously we're going in, everybody's sitting at 0-0. So we're kind of getting the preseason Football Power Index. There's that spiciness right there hitting home. So let's dive into it, man.
Not that Kansas City barbecue like AFAM likes, right? It's a little different barbecue.
That stuff's illegal in 6 states, last I heard. So I don't know about that. Starting off the top of the list here, Tim, no surprise, Philadelphia Eagles at number 1. We got the Kansas City Chiefs. Let me zoom in a little bit for you guys. Here we go. Kansas City Chiefs at 2, Baltimore Ravens 3, Buffalo Bills 4, Detroit Lions 5, Washington Commanders 6, Cincinnati Bengals 7, your Green Bay Packers in the number 8 spot, the LA Chargers 9, and the LA Rams 10. You know, the thing that catches me off guard a little bit, Tim, just on the surface here, the Chargers being 9th is a little like, ooh, didn't really expect that. Maybe I'm sleeping on them a little bit, man. How do you feel about how the top 10 shakes out here in terms of ESPN's Football Power Index?
That's kind of how I felt about Cincinnati. I mean, no disrespect to Joey B and the boys, but I thought maybe the Packers could have locked that spot up. I thought maybe we'd flip with the Bengals in the top 10. And yeah, the Chargers creeping up there, that's a little bit of a shocker, but I don't think it's super crazy. And again, this is like the aggregate going into this year, right? We're basing this off of how last season ended, kind of what we're looking at going into 2025 right now. It is a little surprising to see the Chargers up there. kind of surprising to see San Francisco teetering around just outside the top 10 as well. So a couple surprises there.
Yeah, and it kind of shows you that I think the way they're seeing San Francisco, Tim, is injuries is what got them last year. And listen, I partially agree. I do. Shanahan's a great coach. Brock Purdy's a great quarterback. If they stay healthy, you got Fred Warner and Nick Bosa on the defensive side of the ball. You got Christian McCaffrey, once again, if he stays healthy, one of the better running backs in the game, right? So George Kittle, arguably the best tight end in the game now that Kelsey's kind of starting to taper off a little bit. So I get it. I can see why they're hovering around up there, but at the same time, I'm not going to be surprised if they fall flat on their face as well. So, yeah, again, that's kind of the big thing that sticks out to me. And the fact that the Packers are 8th, Tim, how do you feel about Green Bay being at 8? Do you feel like that's too high, too low, right in the sweet spot? I feel like it's about where I would expect them. I mean, that's, as someone said here in the chat, Deadfish says, we are 4th in the NFC, don't like being behind Washington, but we will take care of that week 2. It's a great point. Now, what a week 2 matchup that's going to be. According to ESPN, the number 6 team and the number 8 team in the entire league. And arguably, I guess that would be team 3 and 4 in the NFC. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. What do you think about Green Bay at 8, Tim?
Yeah, I think it's pretty damn accurate. I'd like us to be higher, but I think it's fair. Like I said, maybe at best you could argue we would flip-flop with Cincinnati. But bottom line, fourth team in the NFC. Certainly only 2 teams in our division, even in the conversation. So, we're not talking about the Bears or the Vikings. So I feel good about how this looks. And I think, as we go through the first quarter or even the first half of the season, you might see these rankings slide a little bit, and maybe we can creep up the list a little more.
Yeah, for sure. And Deadfish goes on to say, I don't like being behind Detroit either, but we will take care of that week 1. How about that, man? We're playing 2 of the top 3 NFC teams week 1 and week 2. I heard a lot of talk about that early in the season or early in the offseason, Tim, when the schedule was released. And I think we've got the schedule here. We'll throw that up real quick. So, yeah, people were like, man, that's brutal at the beginning of the season. If you start 0-2, you're in trouble. I don't think so. I mean, statistically speaking, I'm sure that everyone, if you do start the season 0-2, they're going to be talking about, well, the last time a team that was 0-2 went to the playoffs, it's so rare. But you're talking about 2 of the top 3 NFC teams. If you lose to both of those, and listen, I'm not saying they're going to lose to both of them. I'm not saying that we're going to win both those games. I'm simply saying it's not the end of the world if you lose to 1 or to 2 of the top 3 teams in the NFC, with you being the 4th. Because the chances are you're going to go on a pretty good run the rest of the season and still have a good shot at making the playoffs if you stay healthy. Now, with that being said, I think there's a decent chance that we split one of those 2 games, whether we beat Detroit there week 1, 4:25 kickoff on Sunday, or off a short week, we beat Washington on Thursday Night Football there on Amazon Prime at 8:15 kickoff. I think that's Eastern time. So if I had to pick, though, Tim, I like our chances beating Detroit week 1 rather than Washington on a short week. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear you. I'm comfortable saying that we're 4-0 going into the bye, like I've said for the last few weeks. Overly confident, as I always am, and I think this is the year that maybe we don't split with Detroit. Maybe we tilt the tables and finally beat them twice. Division records doesn't seem to be, I don't want to say not as important, but it just seems like, like you said, when it comes in terms of playoff seeding, nowadays you can split the series with your division rivals most of the time. And if you stack up the right wins and don't dump too many games, you can still get in the playoffs. So it's not as vital, but for bragging rights, for my own Packer fandom pride, I'm really, really pulling for us to just beat Detroit twice this year. I'd love to see it.
Oh my God. Could you imagine the fans? It would be absolute meltdown, because all they've had to stand on last year was the fact that they beat us both games. It's all I've heard from Detroit fans, right?
Yep.
And then, of course, it's like they come back down to earth when they get in the playoffs and get their butts kicked, like it happens, pretty much every year they make the playoffs. Chris the Casual Win says Amon-Ra St. Brown is a problem. He, what's crazy too, Chris? What was he, a 4th-round pick? He was either 3rd or a 4th-round pick. He was
we grabbed the wrong St. Brown.
Yes, we did. He was one of those guys. He didn't have the measurables, right? He didn't have the traits. But again, he do? He's a high volume receiver, right? He does a good job. He just kind of got that little knack of getting open and obviously, controlling the ball at the catch point. So I'm with you, man. I'm on Ross St. Brown. You got to give respect where respect's due for sure. Respect Orange it's not a bad spot after the OK season they had. I agree with that. You come off of last year, we won 11 games. You come out and start the next season, you say you're the fourth best in the NFC and obviously the eighth best team in the league. I don't have a problem with it either, man. Soder says Rams and Seahawks will give the 49ers a run. Yeah, the Rams are going to be very interesting, especially adding Devontae Adams, to that mix. You got Puka Nacua on one side, Devontae on the other. Matt Stafford still spinning that rock. And they got Kyron Williams, another really good running back. You got Sean McVay. He's going to have that team competing, Tim. There's no doubt in my mind.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Look for them to, I think, push ahead pretty early in the NFC West for sure.
Yeah, the Seahawks are going to be interesting too, but I think I have a little more faith in the Rams just because we're going to see if Sam Darnold did actually figure it out or if it was all KOC, right? And I think the big measuring stick for that question to determine the accurate answer all year long is going to be how does J.J. McCarthy look in Minnesota with KOC and how does Sam Darnold look in Seattle, right? So that's going to be very, very interesting. But, yeah, I hear you, Soder. Ed Madden says eighth, not bad for the start of the season. Feel like we're going to move up a lot by season's end.
Yep,
I agree, man. I think we're a team that you're 1 year older in a good way. Most time you say that and you go, oh man, is the window closing? But for the Packers, it's 1 year older is a good thing, right? And then of course you add a little bit of veteran help with Nate Hobbs, a young veteran, which is a good thing too.
Aaron Banks too, as well on the offensive line.
Young veteran, and then of course Mecole Hardman, young veteran. I think all of them are right around 26 or 27 years old. So they got some NFL experience. They're all three. Two of the three definitely starters. We'll see what happens with Mecole. I wouldn't be surprised if he burst onto the scene. If he has a solid camp and he solidifies his 53-man roster spot, there's a chance that LaFleur says, you know what, let's put him on the field every play, or starter reps anyway. But we'll see. Let's see what else in the chat here. Holmes MD1 says these guys better start the season with their piss hot. That's for sure.
Yeah, our guys better wake up with their piss hot, like I said before. So.
Respect Orange. It says Jair revenge game at the end of the season. It is a revenge game. I'm excited about us getting revenge on Jair. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I see it. I don't see it the other way around. And you know what? Jair is kind of one of those players that when he gets in his own head, that's when he's at his worst. When he's worried about talking trash, when he's worried about I want to cover the number one and all that stuff, let him try to put it on his shoulders. Let him try to pretend like this game is about me. And let's cook him deep. That's the way I see that. So
I would be pleasantly surprised if he was playing football at week 17 of the season.
There you go.
The rate we've been going lately. So hopefully we do see him back at Lambeau at the end of the year.
Yeah, I do not want him to get hurt. I know there's some fans that are like, if he goes out and gets banged up, they're going to be like, told you so. I want him to be healthy, and I want Matthew Golden to absolutely cook him. That's what I want. And that's nothing against Jair. I don't have any ill will toward Jair. You guys know for $6 million, I wanted him back with the Packers. But he ain't wearing that green and gold anymore, Tim. He's fair game. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Hey, like I said it on X. I had a post. I said, I wish you nothing but the best, except for that week 17 matchup back at Lambeau Field,
Yeah. Let's see here. H.E. Solder says, beat the Lions week 1 and Washington in week 2. Bust the damn rankings. That's what I'm talking about. Come out there. It's us against the world. Ed Madden says, with Seattle's O-line, I think Darnold will be seeing a lot of ghosts. Have you ever seen that clip, Tim, from NFL Films where he played the Patriots? They were playing the Patriots, and I can't remember, he threw like his second or third interception of the game, and they had him mocked up, and on the sideline he went, I'm seeing ghosts out there.
Yeah.
Like, God, it's the coolest sound.
Yeah.
And what he meant by that, for those of you who don't know, when a quarterback talks about seeing ghosts, you probably heard Mike Holmgren say it to Brett Favre back in the 90s and say, hey, don't go seeing any ghosts out there. It means don't outthink yourself and don't buy into the pre-snap sugar and think, okay, I know what the film study has showed us all week. I know what their tendencies are. I know where our matchups are. I know how our game plan is geared around attacking those tendencies, attacking those matchups. But they're showing this look right now. I'm going here. And next thing you know, it wasn't the look you thought you saw. you throw a pick and it's a fire zone blitz or whatever it may be. And that's what they call seeing ghosts. She's seen something that actually wasn't there. I love that line. Let's see what else we got here in the chat. Deadfish says, to me, the Eagles are the big competition in the NFC. Big game on November 10th. Let's make them come to Lambeau Field. I love it too, because that's going to, first of all, weeks 1 and 2, Tim, another thing, this is going to be a measuring stick for the Packers.
Oh, yeah. We said that when schedule release happened. We said, hey, we're going to find out real quick who this team is.
Yep.
Real quick this year.
Yep. So you get that week 1, week 2 kind of gauge, and we're either going to be going, all right, boys, we got a shot this year, or you may be going, all right, let's step back, readjust, and get ready to make up some ground if you did start off slow. But like Deadfish says, though, you get the November 10, man, it's game on. You're going up to reigning, defending Super Bowl champs. Now let's see how we adjusted halfway through the year and what we could put together. I love it, man. Steve in the chat says, I want to see Golden or Watson burn Alexander deep for a touchdown. That's exactly how I feel, my man. Exactly how I feel. So let's go on down the line here a little bit, Tim. Let's round it out between 10 and 20. 10 is the LA Rams. 11 is the Broncos. 12 is the Niners. 13, the Texans. Buccaneers are 14. Vikings are 15. Bears are 16. Cowboys 17. Steelers 18. Dolphins 19. Cardinals 20. The big thing that sticks out to me here is the Minnesota Vikings at 15. Because there's some people that still think they're going to finish ahead of the Packers in the North. I just do not see it with a first-year starting quarterback. So them around the 15 spot, I'm starting to build a little confidence in this ESPN Power Index, man, because I've seen a lot of people that seem to think that Minnesota is not going to skip a beat with J.J. McCarthy being the quarterback, and I just could not disagree more. So the Vikings at 15. How cool is it, too? The Bears are right on the Vikings' heels. I bet Minnesota fans love that, don't they?
It's crazy. Hey, let Poles cook, right? You know, they signed that big extension, right? And I think you're right. I think, I mean, it wouldn't be insane if, you know, JJ McCarthy went out and balled out, I guess, you know, but there's just not a lot of precedence for a first year starter to just come in and just crush it like that. But then again, KOC, you know, they've got a legit scheme and a legit coach. So if you are a first year starter, that's a pretty good opportunity for you to find success, much like Jordan did here with Matt LaFleur as a first year starter. So I don't think it's fair to absolutely write off Minnesota. But I'm with you, Clayton. They got to prove it. You know, I don't think you can just live off of reputation, you know?
Yeah. Deadfish pointing out the elephant in the room here. The Bears are ahead of the Cowboys and the Steelers. You got to be kidding me. That's where they got them. You're right, man. They get the Bears at 16, the Cowboys 17, the Steelers at 18, even the Dolphins at 19, Cardinals at 20. What do you think about
Get ready to go.
The Bears being above the Cowboys and the Steelers? Because we know, listen, Aaron going to take that personal. He's never going to let the Bears finish in front of him.
That's like looking at 3 trash cans and telling me which one do I think looks better. I mean, whatever. Shake them all up, rank them wherever. I mean, I'm laughing at Jerry World right now too, just like anyone else. But yeah, it is interesting to see the Bears this high up on the list because, I mean, you could make an argument that Seattle should be higher up on the list than Chicago for sure.
Definitely. All right, let's get into the bottom dwellers here. 21, the Seahawks. 22, the Jaguars. 23, I need a Duval, Tim. Just whenever you get a chance, you cut me off with it. I need Duval in my life. Jaguars at 22. Woo, that's ugly, man. Got the Colts at 23.
Duval.
We got the Colts at 23. We got the Raiders at 24. The Patriots at 25. Falcons 26. I kind of feel like the Falcons should be a little higher. Am I wrong there, Tim? I don't know, man.
See, that's another one. Like, yeah, I don't understand. I could see them up a few more spots. I mean, certainly even ahead of maybe a team like Vegas, you know, Vegas or even Indy.
Definitely. Then you got the, like I said, Falcons 26, Giants 27, Panthers 28, Jets 29. They're, boy, oh boy. Remember 2 years ago when everybody was like, this is the year the Jets turn it around. Aaron coming to town. Boy, they did kind of get, you know, they raised from like around this spot, in my opinion, up to about 20th, you know?
Sure.
And now they're right back in the basement again.
Oh, yeah.
Horrible. And then, of course, you got the Browns at 30, Titans at 31, and then the New Orleans Saints.
Dude, the Browns get everything they deserve. They belong down there for sure.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So there you go, guys. That is, according to the FPI ranking, again, that is on ESPN, the Football Power Index. All right. And you can listen. You can sort it by offense if you want to. I think it'll sort. Here we go. So these are the top offenses according to their Football Power Index. The Buffalo Bills 1, Ravens 2, Lions 3, Chiefs 4, Eagles 5, Commanders 6, Bengals 7, 49ers 8. Green Bay Packers are 9th, right behind the 49ers. Okay. And then you got the Rams behind them, the Chargers, so on and so forth. So the Eagles drop from number 1 down to 5th there. The Bills go to number 1, Baltimore number 2 when it comes to the offense. Detroit still showing a top offense. The question is, will they skip a beat without their boy get ready to go? You know what I'm saying? So what do you think about those top 5 offensive rankings there and where the Packers sit at number 9?
Yeah, I think it's pretty accurate. I don't know. I might have had the Packers up a little higher, but again, looking at how last year was, with Jordan dealing with the injury issues off and on, and we had a couple of stagnant points in the season as an offense, but I'd put the Packers offense above San Francisco's right now. I mean, if we're talking just heading into the season, I'd put us up there, right in that same kind of realm as Washington, Cincinnati range. So I think it's a little low for us, but I'm happy. Hey, top 10 again. We'll take it.
Yes, sir. Let's go to defense now. And I think we will sort. Yeah, we should be sorting. The high number is the more valuable number here as opposed to most defensive rankings. Less is more. Philadelphia Eagles 1, Vikings 2, Chiefs 3, Ravens 4, Bears 5, Texans 6, Broncos 7, Steelers 8, Chargers 9. The Packers land in the number 10 spot, actually tied for 9th with the Chargers. So they are saying legit top 10 defense, which we've talked about. And, of course, you put them in the top 5 in run defense, definitely top 10 in pass defense. So, overall, they got them right around 10th.
Got us ranked higher than Detroit, baby. I'll take it.
I see it. What North teams are ahead of us in defense? The Vikings, the Bears, right? And the Lions are just below us. But when you look at the offensive difference there, I know those Bears fans like to pretend that Caleb Williams truly is generational, but my goodness, a minus 1.0 on offense, but a positive 1.2 on defense. The Vikings, a minus 0.9, which is right ahead of the Bears on offense, and they're sitting at a 1.8 on defense. So it's going to be interesting to see how the defense shakes out as well. But and then special teams, if we were to sort it real quick, Chargers, Steelers, Bucks, Cowboys, Bears are the top 5. Dolphins, Jaguars, Chiefs, Lions, Seahawks. I think that rounds out the 10. So it looks like we're somewhere around the 15 spot.
We'll take it.
Yeah. And again, not going to lose you a game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, we talked about this when we were at the bottom barrel. We were like 28th, 29th in special teams a few years back. And we talked about days like this. If we could just not be a dumpster fire, just be somewhere in that top half of the league, middle ground, and not be a liability on special teams. And I think, adding, guys like Danny Whelan and, bringing Brandon McManus in to help us with the kicking game. I think we've got some really, really good, talented young players that are going to change the way our return game looks, I think, this year. So special teams being in the middle ground for us going into the season, I'll take it. I think they may even be able to crack into that, top 10, top 12 range if we continue to improve.
Yeah. Greg Rice says the Bears are always great before games are played. And also 2-0 for this. Happy Ryan Poles extension day. If you guys didn't see it, he got a contract extension. My man has a winning percentage as a general manager of under 300 and somehow got an extension. Hey,
Caleb gave him an extra Sunday in a McFlurry today at work. He celebrated.
Which, by the way, man, let's talk McFlurry for a second. McDonald's sponsored the show. So I used to go Oreo McFlurry forever, right? And I switched it up and went M&M.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to be honest, man. I think I like M&M better than Oreo. Maybe I'm just
they got to do it right, though. They got to make sure those M&Ms are crushed up enough. Otherwise, you're just getting whole chunks in there, right?
So I said, let's get the best of both worlds. So I went through the drive-thru one night and said, hey, I'm willing to pay extra. Can I get both Oreo and M&M in the McFlurry? They said, I got you, fam. Tim, I did it. Never been more disappointed in my life, man. Sometimes you just got to let things stay the way they are. You know what I mean? You can try too hard for sure. So,
I love it.
Yeah. So when it comes to the Bears, I see some conversation here in the chat. Let's see here. Greg Rice says the Bears are always great there, blah, blah, blah. Holmes says, what am I missing? The Bears defense sucked worse than this chat. Shaking my head. I'm getting the strap. And then Ed Madden says Bears are too hot. Did Adam Rank do this? So, on the surface, I kind of agree, but let's go to some of the advanced metrics. When we talk about EPA per drop back in terms of pass defense, where did the Bears land? So they landed at a 0.02, which, Tim, if I do the quick math, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? That would make them tied for 7th in EPA per drop back. So I think this is probably pretty close, guys. That's just in terms of pass defense. I can't remember what they were run defense. I could probably pull that up real quick. Tim, what do you think? Do you feel like the Bears defense is getting too much love here? Or do you think it's just us Packer fans wanting them to suck worse than maybe they actually do? I'm going to not put it on the screen, but I'm going to try to grab the passing or the rush defense real quick and see exactly how they fared there in terms of yards per attempt.
I mean, it's tough. I don't keep myself super plugged into, Bears Twitter and, the news feeds of what's happening down there in good old Chi-Town. But I think looking back at last year, clearly the issue with their football team was the offensive side of the ball. Defense was probably the one good thing they had going for them. And so as much as it pains me to say, is I think it's fair to see where they're ranked right now. Again, this is going into the season. Everything changes when we line them up and snap the ball week 1, right? And like you always say, and it's a great point, is you really got to look at that season as a whole. You break it into 4 quarters. You want to try and win, your first cluster of games, second cluster of games, get through your bye week, get through the midpoint of the season and close out strong. So the Bears, we can laugh at Caleb Williams all we want. We talk about, offensive line issues. We talk about quarterback issues, these kind of things. But the defense is always, at least the last handful of seasons, has been, at bare bones minimum, at least halfway decent. I don't remember seeing the Bears getting out and out boat raced last year. I mean, they probably struggled to put points on the board, but I don't think they were giving up insane amounts of points or anything. So,
yeah. And so I think it was Holmes that asked that. Maybe there was several people that disagree with the Bears being that high. When you look at the EPA per drop back, you think, that's probably about right. But when I jumped over to yards per rush attempt, I didn't realize they were this bad, Tim. They were 27th. 27th at 4.8 yards a clip is what they were giving up on the ground. So if you take 27th and around 7th or 8th, I think they were too kind to them on this list right here in terms of putting them with the football power index around, what is that?
5.
1, 2, 3, 4. Top 5 defense.
Yeah.
So
when you put it like that, you're right.
Yeah, because, some people like that. Well, it's a passing game, right? It's a passing league. Yeah, that's true. But until you can't stop the run, and we've been there. Luckily, last year, we finally made it out of the wilderness, right? So There's nothing more frustrating than just watching a team run the ball down your freaking throat constantly and not being able to do anything about it. So anything else you want to look at on this list, or any final comments on this football power index by ESPN?
I think overall, when you look at all these rankings, the index, bottom line, man, it seems like the mainstream likes to throw a lot of shade at Green Bay, but if you look at the tail of the tape, man, we're in the conversation top 10 across the board, period. I don't care who you are or what you think. And it's just a matter of time. We're, what are we, 10 days away from camp, something like that? I mean, football is going to be here before you know it. And, it's going to be time to go out there and, walk the walk. But I think it's good. I feel good going into this season. I really do. I mean, I'm a Packer fan for life. I feel good going into every year. I survived the 80s. I'll be fine right now, right? So we'll take top 10 going into the start of the season. I love it.
Yeah, definitely, man. All right. So again, there you go. There is your football power index according to ESPN. What I'm coming away with, guys, Green Bay's a top 10 team. They're the 4th best team in the NFC. Like Tim said, before any games are played, kind of feels like they're in that range. Hey, to me, that's better than where we were going into the season last year. And it's way better than it was going into the year or going into the season for the 2023 season. So you're seeing this team is ascending, right?
Yep.
And again, going into last year, I said 10 to 13 wins. They won 11. This year, I said 11 to 14 wins is kind of what I'm seeing. I feel like 11's the basement, barring any crazy, just injury bug that hits the Packers. So wouldn't be surprised if they won 12 or 13 games this year, Tim. How cool would it be if Matt LaFleur got his 13th win? What would that be now? That would be his 4th time doing that, I believe. I think he did it 3 years in a row with Aaron.
Yeah, his first, I believe the first, 2 or 3 seasons was 13 wins. So, I mean, you know me, I got us going 14-3 like I always do. So, I mean, 13 certainly is possible. I'll take it. But hey, bottom line, right? We don't care. Wild card berth, win the division, go in as a top seed, get a bye, whatever. Make the playoffs, get into the Super Bowl, and bring Lombardi home. That's what I care about.
Yeah. I'll tell you, Tim, if you're going to bring the Lombardi home, that defense is. I don't think it needs to take a huge step forward, but it can't take a huge step back. There's a little buffer for it to take a slight step back. And you guys have heard me talk about that this offseason, right? One of the reasons I mention it is because teams now have all this film on Jeff Hafley's defense as where they didn't have it last year. So they're going to be more prepared going into this season to attack Jeff Hafley's defense. Now, the question for Jeff Hafley is, hey, we finished as legit a top 5 defense, essentially is what it comes down to. But, borderline top 5 overall, but definitely in the top 7 or 8. So now, do you just continue doing what you're doing until other teams prove they can really attack you? Or do you adjust before they adjust? Because you can kind of overcorrect there, right? And when I talk about that, I haven't been really, really specific, but when you start to add wrinkles to a defense, Tim, you're asking for trouble. Now, the positive, there's pros and cons to every adjustment that you make as a coaching staff, whether you're at the NFL, pro, or high school level. But when you make those adjustments, you got to know if it don't work, hey, let's deviate back a little bit. But the problem is if you hammer one thing all training camp long, and then once you come out of training camp, 2 games in, you go, all right, I got to scrap that crap. Your team is going to lose all confidence in it. You know what I mean? So you got to kind of be even keel. Whether it's offense or defense schematically, it's like Jell-O. You can push it, just not too hard. You know what I mean?
That's Jeff Hafley, man. I think that our DC man is a guy that, to me, he strikes me as a guy that is not going to get complacent. He's not going to get comfortable. He's not going to just lean on the old, hey, this is what we do here and this worked, so why mix it up? I don't think he's going to do that. But I also don't think he's going to throw out the whole scheme and just, have no backbone and constantly try and reinvent himself all the time. So I think that's a great point, Clayton. You want to stress these things in camp, throughout your mini camp, your OTAs, and then you get through training camp, preseason, you get your install in, and you want to build in that flexibility. You want to build in the versatility, the different looks, so that if you're in week 8 and something happens and you're making a change on the fly in the game, your team does have confidence because this is what you prepared for all year long. And it was kind of built into your scheme to be adaptable. I'm sure we'll get into further detail, but we talked about Coach Covington coming into the fold here and wanting to mix in some of those 34 looks and wanting to, get creative with the defensive front. And I think Jeff Hafley is a guy that's going to be all for that. And I think this defense will have an identity, but I think we will adapt and improvise and overcome, as the Marines would say. Right, Clay?
Absolutely. All right. So we're going to nerd out here a little bit. All right, guys, it's going to be almost like a chalk talk segment. So stick with me. I didn't dive completely in, but when you hear me say you got to be a little bit careful on how much you put on the player's plate, you go back to Joe Barry, his first year as a defensive coordinator, your defense got better. And then as time went on, they declined, right? And Tim, how many times did we see blown coverages, right? We've seen, I hate saying casual fan because it sounds like I'm insulting people, but there's a portion of the fan base and some people who have a huge following on this damn defense, it's Joe Barry this, Joe Barry that. And I'm going, Bub, he didn't leave that space on. He didn't go, you know what, guys, don't worry about the middle of the field. When you see a huge void, someone blew a coverage. Someone crapped the bed, right? So I'm going to talk about how keep in mind he played the Fangio style defense. At least that was the plan coming in, and then they realized, crap, we can't do this, so they went more middle field close and buzzed a lot as opposed to playing with two on the shelf. But I'm going to give you just a little glimpse into match principles and how difficult it is for these players to not only learn the scheme, learn the system, but also be able to adapt and make decisions in real time. And then, of course, we can't ignore the fact that our roster got a lot better with the addition of an Xavier McKinney, Edgerrin Cooper, Evan Williams, players like that, right? So, again, hang with me, and I'm going to try not to nerd out too much, but I just want to give you guys an idea of what I'm talking about when I say this stuff, okay? I'm going to zoom out just a touch because I'll just kind of read it. But here we go. When Jeff Hafley arrived in Green Bay, all of the talking heads began making assumptions as if they were experts on understanding the complexity of NFL defenses. Many media members began spouting that Jeff Hafley was going to play an aggressive man coverage defense, including but not limited to press man. Tim, do you remember that?
We're going to play press man, baby. Let's go.
No more cushion. We're going to get up on the line and jam everybody.
Every single play, every week, every matchup, press man. Let's go.
And I was sitting back going, man, people are going to, like, I remember getting angry at the media members thinking, y'all are setting these fans up to be angry all year. And
yeah, they love it because it builds engagement for their accounts and their, yeah.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
So what followed was totally the opposite. Rather than increasing man coverage, Jeff Hafley went back to the roots of his cover 3 zone upbringing, one that originates with the Legion of Boom days in Seattle, but with a twist. Hafley chose to press into cover 3, cover 2, and cover 6, all zone looks with match potential, meaning there can be match principles, but you could tell he really throttled back the match. If you guys don't know what that means, it's matching patterns. Okay, so you can run a zone defense, and if you're playing like a cover 2 match or a cover 3 match, it's if and then, meaning if the receiver does this, then my coverage becomes that. So again, you're forcing your players to read what the receiver is running and play with the proper technique, with the understanding that the guy behind you is going to be in his spot, and understand that if you're playing poach and all these terms, you'll hear me say stuff like poach and clamp and all these different techniques that we talk about all the time. They're different styles of cover 3 and cover 3 match and quarters match, which we're going to dive into the Nick Saban quarters match defense here, okay? So, again, match principles are pretty much universal, but Nick Saban ran a quarters look, 2 on the shelf, and how many championships did he win doing that, right? So, again, Jeff Hafley came up in the old Seattle cover 3 defense. It was a cover 3 buzz is essentially what it was, right? You guys remember the talk or the talk across the league forever, how it was Richard Sherman doesn't follow the number 1 receiver, and that's why he's not the best corner. This is why, because they played predominantly zone defense. Doesn't mean they didn't play some man, but they played mainly cover 3 buzz. And you'll see here with buzz, again, the corner drops in the deep third. The safety will buzz the box into a hook curl, and the linebacker covers the curl flat. And typically that safety that was buzzing the box was Cam Chancellor, one of the deadliest safeties, safeties in the league. Now you had Earl Thomas, I think it was his name, right? Earl Thomas was patrolling center field and playing post safety in that middle field close cover 3 look. All right, so that's
Bobby Wagner flying all over the place.
Exactly. You have Bobby Wagner basically sitting in a hook curl in the middle of the field and just, absolutely destroying run gaps the entire game, right? So, again, if you look here, you could drop that down now, Tim. Thank you for pulling that up, Bob. If you look at what the Packers ran last year, once again, 25% of the time they ran cover 2 zone. Guys, they ran more cover 2 zone than anyone else in the league. And keep in mind, going into the season, the experts were saying we were going to play man. Guys, we only played cover 1 man 16% of the snaps, cover 0 3%, and 2-man under, which is 2 deep safeties, man coverage underneath, less than 1% of the time.
Explain why we drafted all these corners that only can play zone. They're not man corners.
So cover 2 zone 25% of the time. We played cover 3 zone 33% of our defensive snaps. We played cover 6 12% of the snaps, and cover 4 9% of the snaps. So keep in mind, if you're wondering what cover 6 is, first of all, you got to ask yourself, what's cover 2? Cover 2 is 2 deep safeties, right? they're responsible for half of the field deep. All right. And then everybody else is blanketed underneath. You can mix and match a little blitz if you like. All right. So that's cover 2. Then when we went to cover 3, it's 3 deep. Typically, it's the outside corners deep third, and you got a post safety deep middle third, right? And then when you go to cover 4, it's exactly what it sounds like. 4 deep. Everybody's responsible for a quarter of the field if you're playing just simple country quarter spot drop, which is drop and cover a zone. You're not matching patterns, right? So cover 6 is a combination, okay? Cover 6 is a combination between cover 4 and cover 2. So half the field is cover 2 zone. The other half is cover 4, okay? And you can flip and flop if you want I personally like the cover 4 side to be the field side and the half to be the boundary. But you can also trick people into attacking underneath. If you put on tape for week in and week out, you're playing quarters there, they'll attack underneath. And if you go with what we call a cover 9 look, where you'll actually put the cover 2 side on the field side, the big side of the field, and then the cover 4 on the weak side of the field, or not the weak side, but the boundary side, the short side of the field, you can kind of play what they call clamp, and you can force them into throwing underneath, right? So we'll talk about all that here in a second. I just want to point out that's what we actually ran last year, was predominantly cover 3 zone, Jeff Hafley getting back to his roots, just like we said, cover 2 25% of the time, and cover 6 a combination of cover 4 and cover 2 12% of the time. All right, let's carry on. With 1 year under his belt, now the question becomes, do we add layers to keep things simple? For me, the answer is easy. Keep things simple. All right. It became a common pastime for Packer fans to make fun of Joe Barry for having large open voids in his defense while in Green Bay. The reality is Joe Barry's defense was not designed with large voids. Those voids were miscommunications, errors by below-average players like Eric Stokes, Darnell Savage, Jonathan Owens, and Devondre Campbell. Let me hit time out here for a second. There's going to be some people who are always defending Joe Barry. If I'm defending Joe Barry, then what you're telling me is you would rather have Eric Stokes over Carrington Valentine, right? Or Eric Stokes over Nate Hobbs, who they signed this year. Hell, Eric Stokes over Keyshawn Nixon. Not going to happen, right? You're also telling me you would rather have Darnell Savage over Xavier McKinney. That's laughable, right? Okay. You're also telling me you'd rather have Jonathan Owens over Evan Williams. See? And then, of course, probably the biggest laughable side of this, you're telling me you'd rather have Devondre Campbell over Edgerrin Cooper.
Stop playing.
All 4 of those key positions for playing pass defense, right? We upgraded by literally flipping the roster, okay? Now, again, the reason those voids were there where you had these guys that didn't have 2 brain cells to rub together in trying to play a match defense, and that's why in the second half of the season, the defense got better, and it got better as you got in the playoffs, because literally Matt LaFleur stepped in and said, stop it, Joe. They can't do it. We're going middle field close from here on out. And went to a cover 3 look. And then you end up firing Joe Barry. You scrapped half the players that were, complaining and moaning about the defense they were being asked to run. And then you go out and you get a guy who grew up in a cover 3 defense, and you went predominantly 33% of the snaps on defense, cover 3 middle field close. So, again, don't listen to what coaches and GMs say. Watch what they do.
They do, yep.
So, all right, now insert this guy right here, this madman, Nick Saban. All right, let's talk about his defense a little bit, and let's talk about what caused the errors. What caused the errors? Sure, some of it was lack of talent. A lot of it was lack of talent, right? I would even say it was the majority of the problem. However, with Joe Barry's defense came match-heavy principles. Now, Jeff Hafley is faced with the questions, do we try to advance the defense with more matchy play calls? My answer is only on a minimal basis, if at all. Hafley's defense was not void of match calls, okay? So don't take this the wrong way. We were just playing spot drop the whole time. That was not the case. There were match calls. We talked about it on Chalk Talk. Yep, Tim, I think that's match right there. We would talk about why it was match and why we thought it was match, okay? The reality is none of us truly know what the call is because we're not in the meeting rooms, okay? And that's where you got to kind of, after the fact, all right, try to determine, yes, this is what I think they're doing here, right? So let's see. Only far fewer than Barry's scheme. Below is one tiny example of how things can become very complex while playing match coverage. Let's dive into a small, and I mean a very, very small, guys. This is this much of Saban's defense, okay? A small technical side of Nick Saban's match-heavy hoarders defense that won several national championships at Alabama. So we're going to dive into several different techniques that's involved with that, but we're going to do it on the other side. So for those of you listening on the pod, we'll see you on the other side for hour 2. We're going to break these down here. We appreciate y'all.
For those of you listening on the pod,
welcome into hour 2. All right, let's get into it. We're going to continue this conversation about whether Jeff Hafley needs to press into more match principles or just keep things simple, okay? Let's go back to Alabama here, all right? Let's talk about Stubby here for a second, all right? And we're not talking about the lady that Jacob brung home from the club the other night, all right?
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Perfect drop right there. Meaning of Stubby in quarters defense, okay? Definition. I'm going to kill my camera because I get real close here, Tim.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Getting old, my friend. All right. Stubby describes a short, controlled jab step or punch used by a cornerback to engage and briefly disrupt the release of a wide receiver at the line of scrimmage without fully committing to a jam or press technique. So it's kind of the mindset of a jam or a press, but you're not fully committing to just jamming all outright, okay? The goal is to slightly delay the receiver's route timing while allowing the cornerback to maintain proper positioning to read and react to the route, pattern matching, and cover their assigned zone or man within the quarters scheme, all right? The execution, the cornerback uses a quick, compact movement, often with their hands or a small step to, quote, stub or bump the receiver, then quickly retreats or shuffles to stay in phase with the receiver's route while keeping eyes on the quarterback, which is absolutely huge in match, and the developing play, all right? Here's the key characteristics of Stubby. Non-aggressive contact. I'm not going to read the entire portion of this. I'm just going to give you kind of a glimpse. Non-aggressive contact, maintain leverage, pattern match integration, all right? Stubby allows the cornerback to disrupt while still reading the receiver's route and the quarterback's intentions, fitting Saban's pattern match principles where defenders adjust coverage based on route combinations. You got to be able to read route combinations. Again, guys, this is why people were running butt naked through the trailer park in Joe Barry's defense, because we had those 4 players plus others that didn't know what the heck they were doing playing that defense. You tried to do too much with too little. Timing and discipline is another key factor. All right? Why is it used in the quarters defense? Quarters coverage or cover 4 often involves cornerbacks playing off or with soft press to read multiple threats, vertical routes, flats, curls, etc. Stubby helps disrupt the receiver's rhythm without sacrificing the corner's ability or the integrity to cover their deep quarter or match routes like a post or a corner. It aligns with Saban's philosophy of controlling the passing game by forcing quarterbacks to hold the ball longer and making receivers work harder to get into their routes. All right, let's move on to another one, Tim. This is stump. All right, you're going Stubby and stump, huh? Definition: stump refers to more forceful and deliberate technique where the corner uses a strong two-handed strike or jam to disrupt the wide receiver's release at the line of scrimmage. It's a controlled but aggressive action to stump or halt the receiver's initial movement. The purpose: the primary goal to significantly delay the receiver's route, disrupt their timing with the quarterback, and redirect to slow their release while the cornerback maintains proper positioning to execute their coverage responsibilities in the quarter scheme. Execution: the cornerback delivers a quick, powerful two-handed punch to the receiver's chest or shoulders, aiming to stop their forward momentum. So this is a little bit more aggressive than the previous one, which was Stubby, right? So this is kind of that median line, I should say. After the strike, the cornerback transitions back into their coverage stance, keeping outside leverage and reading the route quarterback to match pattern or cover their zone, right? Key characteristics of Stub: aggressive but controlled, outside leverage. So you're going to play with more outside leverage when playing stump, all right? Route disruption and pattern match compatibility. So you got to make sure everything you do, whether you're playing full bump, half bump, which is stump and Stubby, you do not lose the integrity of the overall match principles of the defense you're running. Okay. Now, stump versus stubby, we kind of talked about it. Stubby, a lighter, quicker jab or bump, right? Stump, a more forceful two-handed strike. Okay, so that's the difference between those two. All right. And it goes on to, you guys can read this is all in the Patreon group. You guys have access to it. Just scan the QR code in the upper right or go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. Now, Tim, let's talk about what poach means. All right. Poach. So the definition, poaching occurs when a defender, usually a safety in quarters coverage, a cover 4 defense, abandons their primary deep quarter responsibility to jump or, quote, steal a route in an adjacent area, anticipating the quarterback's throw based on route patterns or quarterback cues.
So what we saw Jair doing 95% of the time, basically.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, Tim. How comfortable do you feel thinking of Jonathan Owens making the decision on whether or not they match or not, or whether they poach or not, or which receiver they're going to poach?
No, I don't feel good about that at all.
Terrible.
Feel great about Xavier McKinney making that decision.
No.
Feel great about Evan Williams making that decision, honestly.
And that's why I'm going, hey, maybe you press in the match a little bit, just don't get crazy. You know what I mean? We know what works last year, so let's press.
And matchups will dictate that too, right? You're going to see it, know, based on who you're playing.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We always talk a lot about, an offense is trying to take what the defense is giving them or whatever. Well, you flip it around, man. Sometimes as a defense, you've got to kind of look at that offense and see what they're trying to do, and you're going to adapt your game to what they're doing week to week.
Yep. Exactly. So the purpose of poaching is the goal is to create a turnover, right? Or disrupt the pass by capitalizing on the quarterback's misread or predictable throw, while still maintaining the integrity of the coverage structure. All right. Execution. The poaching defender reads the quarterback's eyes, shoulder turn, or route combinations, which is, a curl, an out route, whatever it may be, that you read the route combination. You got to know that it's kind of process of elimination. If they run this defense, then I'm going to go here. Remember what we said, if and then. That applies to poach as well. And moves forward to the intended receiver, often crossing into another defender's zone. This requires precise timing and trust that other defenders will adjust to cover the vacated area. So you guys have got to not only know what your responsibility is based off of any particular route that might be ran at any given moment of the game, but you got to know and have the confidence that your teammate is going to be in the right spot as well. Tim, you remember the last year in Barry's defense, everybody shrugging their shoulders and pointing at each other and throwing their hands up?
Yep.
Like they had no clue what they were doing. So
yep.
The key characteristics of poach, all right? Read-based decision, high risk, high reward, leverage and support, physicality, and ball skills, all right? Now, let's move it along here. So now you've got poach, stubby, and stump, right? Those are the 3 aspects we've talked about so far. Now, let's hit pause for a second. Let's quickly focus on defending trip sets or a 3x1 set, okay? So imagine a 3x1 set. We've talked about this over and over and over. It just simply means there's 3 targets. Typically, a trip set is 3 wide receivers. So let's say they've got 3 legit wide receivers on one side of the formation, all right? So first of all, you can play stubby and stump against a 3x1, right, with poach, which changes some of the things that are difficult to play, right? So you can play mod, which is called man on demand. That's another aspect of a match defense. On the 1 and the 2, you can play mod on them while poaching the backside safety to 3. So you can kind of take away number 3 and turn 1 and 2 into mod if they come out in a trip set, right? Now, let's say someone has speed to 3. You guys hear me say it all the time. Yep. Speed at 3 is becoming really, really popular. I know Coach Lim was in the chat talking about it one night. Speed to 3 is real simple. Think outside in. The receiver on the outside is the number 1. The second receiver is the 2. The inside receiver is the 3. When you put that speed to 3, right, and you got a safety trying to bend outside and cover the sideline because you got so many targets and the spacing that's involved with the trip set, now all of a sudden that number 3, Tim, they can really attack a defense with that speed, right?
For sure.
So that's why it's become deadly. So let's say someone
real quick, can you explain the difference between trips and tray?
Yeah, absolutely. So with trip sets, it's 3 wide receivers to one side, right? With tray, it's 2 receivers and a tight end over there. So essentially, if you're going trips, it means you're nub on the opposite side. Okay, so if you're trips left, you're nub right. If you're in 11 personnel, which is one running back, one tight end, 3 wide receiver sets. So if you go trips, then you know it's nub right. If you go tray, then you know, okay, Trey, if you just say Trey left, it means the tight end is most likely attached, but he's going to be in the number 3 spot. Now, if you say Trey Y flex 2, Trey Y flex 1, what you're saying is the tight end is one of those 3 targets on the trip side or the, quote, Trey side, and then you're specifying which number the tight end is going to be playing from a receiver standpoint, the 1, the 2, or the 3. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thanks, Clay.
All right, you're welcome. So let's say that someone has speed at 3 and you're not confident in the safety's ability to get back to 3. You can go back and play what we call pin. So here's another layer to the match defense in terms of how Nick Saban teaches it, okay? So you can go back and play pin with poach and stump pattern matches, all right? So what does pin mean? Glad you asked. Pin describes the action of a defensive back sticking closely to a designated receiver, essentially pinning them to restrict their ability to create separation or catch the ball. It's a man coverage, I repeat, a man coverage like responsibility within the quarters cover 4 framework, where the defender prioritizes neutralizing a specific target over pure zone responsibilities. Let me hit timeout here a second. Go back to where Nick Saban got one of his first coaching starts. You got to go all the way back to 1995 in Cleveland, where he was the defensive coordinator for Bill Belichick, who was the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. You guys tonight, here's your homework assignment. When we get done here, go stay on YouTube, type in Cleveland 95, and it'll be a NFL Films documentary on that 95 season. You'll see a young Nick Saban with birth control glasses. Meaning he ain't getting nobody pregnant wearing those glasses, I promise you. Okay?
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Now, think about this, Tim. Back then, he and Bill Belichick developed what they call Red 2, right? Which is another – we do not have time to get into Red 2.
Trust me. I remember this.
Yeah.
I remember that, yeah.
What Saban did was he took the principles and the matching aspect of if and then that he and Bill Belichick created in Red 2, and he basically said, you know what? Let's start putting 2 on the shelf to deter teams from taking shot plays and reduce their explosive plays in the passing game. And why don't I add in the Red 2 principles, or at least a portion of it? That's how you come up with quarters match. So everything is constantly evolving, and the game of football is cyclical both at the college and pro level. That makes sense. So The purpose of pin is the goal is to take away a primary dangerous receiver, right? It could be a star wideout or a tight end by denying them space, disrupting their route, and preventing the quarterback from targeting them effectively. So you're kind of shutting them down. If you think about Bill Belichick in New England, think about this, Tim. They create a Red 2 together in Cleveland. Saban goes on to Alabama and turns it into a quarters match defense, which wins multiple national championships. And Bill Belichick, with this similar mindset, said, you know what? I'm going to take the pin approach of what we did with Red 2, and I'm going to turn it into a bullseye defense. So what he would do is take his, rather than putting his number 1 corner following the number 1 receiver, Tim, he would take the number 1 corner on his defense and put it on their number 2 receiver. And you go, why would you do that? That's a disadvantage. You would think so, right? But you're taking your number 1 and putting it on their number 2, okay? Now all of a sudden their number 2 is taken completely out of play because your best corner is overmatching a less than stellar number 2 wide receiver. And then he would double team the number 2 receiver or the number 1 receiver. So think of it from a quarterback's perspective. You come out to the line of scrimmage and you look up and you see bracket coverage, i.e. double team man coverage, a doubled up man coverage, bracket cover, and you're number 1. You go, can't go there, right? Not going to do that. Not going to throw in a double coverage. Let's work to the 2. And then you get to the number 2 and their star cornerbacks covering your number 2. That's bullseye. Yep. So Belichick took what he loved out of pin with the Red 2, created the bullseye man coverage only defense, while Nick Saban went to Alabama, took the match principles of the Red 2 and turned it into a quarter defense. Pretty cool, man. Absolutely awesome how this stuff comes together. So,
love it.
Execution, the defender assigned to pin aligns in close proximity to the receiver, often uses press or tight off coverage techniques, maybe something similar to a mirror match press type thing to disrupt the release. Then they mirror the receiver's movements, staying in their hip pocket. That's mirror match press man right there. And using physicality to contest any catch attempts while still reading the quarterback and route combinations to avoid being manipulated by the offense. So again, the key characteristics of pin, Tim, is man match focus, physical and technical, situational usage. You're not going to do this every play, and team coordination. All right.
Yep.
So there you go. So
That's
now
what we were missing with Joe Barry, team coordination.
got that right. It was a mess. All right. So now, along with pin, you can also play what they call clamp on the 1 and 2. Keep in mind that same trips look. Okay. So you can now play clamp on 1 and 2 with the safety still poaching the speed at 3. All right. So now you know what poach means. That safety is essentially bracketing over to the speed at 3. So now you're saying, what's clamp? Here's what clamp is. Clamp describes a defender's role in locking down a specific receiver with tight physical coverage, preventing separation and neutralizing them as a target. It's a more intense version, I repeat, a more intense version of pin. So you see how what Saban did, Tim, was he took at multiple levels. He gave 3 or 4 different variations of playing match, right? And in this case, like stumpy, stub, all these different types of technique. You have an intense one, a medium one, and a soft one. And he did the same exact thing when playing pin and clamp. So this is a more aggressive approach at clamp, right? Pin, kind of medium level. Clamp, shut them down. Like be willing to get beat deep if you have to, but we are really going to play aggressive on the line of scrimmage, okay? So that's another aspect of, again, this is all within quarters, zone match defense.
Right. And you can play clamp a lot more often when you trust your safeties, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And with clamp too, though, you, in this case where we're talking about a trip set though, Tim, you're trusting your outside corners on the 1 and the 2 to play clamp and kind of shut them down just mano a mano. All right. So it's a man coverage defense to what it turns into. And you're allowing your safety to freely lock on that speed to 3. But you can also, with the 2 high shell look, if they're not running the ball down your throat, right? What you can do is those safeties are very, very comfortable rolling over. So essentially, the safety closest to the trip side, he can really fade over and protect over the top of 1 and 2, while the safety on the opposite side of the formation, post-snap, that post-snap rotation comes down and poaches the 3. So now you've got everything under control, and it goes back to what we talked about with triangle and box. Triangle being real simple. If you got 2 receivers within a zone, you want 3 defenders forming a triangle around them. That's what you're doing with clamp and poach. If you've got 3 receivers and you want to play box, and what you want to do there is 4 defenders, 2 over the top, 2 underneath, surrounding that trips look. That makes sense. So
yes.
All right. So key characteristics of clamp: aggressive man match, physicality and technique, situational deployment, and defensive coordination. All right. Now, the same rules would apply to speed at 3. You can also play some form of trap. Tim, you understand we're like 6 deep now in different techniques.
Yep.
Right? So here's trap, where the corners actually trap in the flat, where you're carrying a 1 and a 2 inside and up the field. All right. So I repeat, when you play trap, you're basically carrying the 1 and the 2 receiver inside and up the field. That's the technique you're playing. All right. So trap describes a situation where a defender intentionally allows a receiver to appear open in their zone or area, enticing the quarterback to throw, while another defender, the trapper, lurks nearby to jump the route and make a play on the ball. The goal is to generate turnovers, obviously. The execution: in quarters coverage, a defender, a safety or a linebacker, may sag off or show soft coverage on a receiver, like we seen with Joe Barry's defense, right? They'll sag off and show soft off coverage off a receiver, giving the illusion of a passing window. Meanwhile, another defender reads the quarterback's eyes or the route combination and moves to, quote, trap the throw, closing the gap quickly to intercept or break up the pass. This relies heavily on pattern match principles and film study to anticipate the offense's play. Again, if you don't have the dogs to run it, which we never did when Joe Barry was in Green Bay, you're going to suck at it. So that's why it's important to match scheme with your personnel. All right. You can begin to see just how easy it is for receivers to all of a sudden be wide open if the defenders aren't mentally capable of reading and reacting in time. When it comes to match, the object is simple, okay? If and then. If the receiver does this, then my assignment becomes that. If the receiver runs an out, then my assignment becomes, outside leverage, curl flat, whatever it may be. Okay. But as you can see, the execution of the play is the farthest thing from simple. We simply showed you 6 techniques involved in a match-heavy defense just now, guys. Stubby, a light jab at the line to disrupt the receiver's release. Stump, a forceful two-handed strike to delay a receiver at the line. Poach, a defender leaving their zone to jump a route in another area based on a read, but without the deliberate baiting of a trap. Pin, tight coverage, mostly man, on a specific receiver, prioritizing man-like coverage. It's zone, but it's man. Okay. Clamp, aggressive lockdown coverage to neutralize a receiver entirely. And trap, a deceptive tactic where a defender baits the quarterback into throwing to a seemingly open area only to close and make a play on the ball. In conclusion, I'm so tired of reading. We only scratch the surface of what a college playbook contains. So you can only imagine the complexity that an NFL one could evolve into. The Packers defense is way better equipped today to install another level of complexity with players like Xavier McKinney, Evan Williams, and Edgerrin Cooper on the field in place of Savage, Owens, and Campbell, who were constantly pointing and shrugging their shoulders after a busted play. However, my vote is to err on the side of simplicity. So I'm not saying we should bring back all the match principles. Not what I'm saying at all. All I'm simply saying is you now have the dogs. You have the horses in the freaking stable that if you want to take a little step into more match, you can do it this year. So that becomes the question for Jeff Hafley. When we talk about the defense may take a step back, that's what I'm talking about. Because one of two things are going to happen, Tim. You're either going to stay the same with your scheme and offenses are going to catch on and you got to adjust. That's probably going to cause a little bit of a step back, nothing huge. Or you try to press into match a little bit to get ahead of the curve and you outsmart yourself. That could happen.
Right.
But if you press into match and these teams are wasting all that time watching the tape from last year, you might jump into a top 3 defensive spot.
Yeah. And knowing Jeff Hafley, his brain's probably operating that way too, right? Yep. Keep it simple, stupid, right? That's the old saying, don't get ahead of yourself too much. But at the same time, like I said earlier, I don't think, Coach Half wants to be stagnant either. And a lot of these are week to week situational matchup driven type of scenarios. And we're talking about, we broke down, basically we barely scratched the surface, right? We're talking 6 different techniques within a scheme. Everyone talks about what's the scheme? Well, the scheme's of, 4-3, but beyond that, there's a lot of nuance. And this was a great article, man. I'm glad you put this together.
Yeah. So again, you guys have access to that over in the Patreon group. I got off work at about 3, Tim, and I'm like, how can I describe what it is I'm trying to explain when I say they could take a slight step back and you don't want to make things too complex, but at the same time, you're more equipped today than you ever have been to take a step forward. That's the best I knew how to do it. And again, with a very, very minute, I don't want anybody to get the misinterpretation or the misrepresentation, I should say, that this is Nick Saban's quarter match. Guys, this is like that much of it. Much of it. So there you go. Just a little glimpse into it. So anything else to add to that before we move on to Rashan Gary Chalk Talk, Tim? Anything at all about it?
No, ready to roll.
Right.
Bring on Bane Gary, baby. Let's go.
Let's keep this party moving. All right, guys, you know how this works. We're going to do a little Chalk Talk segment here. We're going to break down some tape. Now, with that being said, we know that the stream may go down, okay? If it detects copyright, we're allowed to use the footage. However, the AI sometimes grabs it, and when it does, it'll shut down the YouTube stream. So if the stream goes down, you got multiple options. You can hop over to Rumble. You can go over to X at Packers_access, or you can just wait until this video is completely edited and you get the full Chalk Talk segment on YouTube uploaded probably within 30 or 45 minutes after the show is over, okay? So just so you know, if the stream goes down, that's what's going on. Before we take that chance, hit that like button for us. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you making us a part of your evening here at PTA. All right, Tim, let's get into it, man. So I had to leave out. There was probably 18 or 19 more plays I wanted to show of Rashan Gary, but for time purposes, I'm like, we can't do this. We'll be watching film for 2 hours. So this is somewhat limited. What you're going to see here is all of his sacks, all 7.5 sacks, and you're going to see in my opinion, some of the better run stops that he had. So we're going to show you how he got after the quarterback, and we're also going to show you how he stopped the run. And you'll actually see 1 or 2 snaps where he plays 3 tech, which kind of got me excited. Like,
Nice.
I would love to see LVN and Gary kind of move in and out of that 3 tech from time to time. If you want to go to like a double 3 tech or a double 4-eye, that tight front that they show sometimes, and you take Kenny off for a break, put Devontae White in one of those 3 techs and put a Gary or an LVN in a 3 tech would be cool too. But here we go on this play here, Tim. We got Gary lining up in what I would call that a 9 tech, a wide 9.
I was going to say, is that a wide 9? Pretty close.
Yeah. So again, wide 9 tech. And this is the sack that Lane Johnson gave up. And look at the jump that Gary gets. They did PFF. This is another reason why PFF pisses me off. They did not give Lane Johnson a sack right here. They didn't say he was credited this sack. Okay. They said he didn't give up a sack all year. Watch this. Look at Gary. Take him right off the line. He actually gets his hands on him. And of course, Gary just blows right by and gets a sack. So
That
great
was the
job.
most impressive part of the play was that he actually got a hand on him.
Right.
Bye.
Yeah. So again, they did not say, they said Lane Johnson, no, he wasn't ready. Okay. Give everybody else that grace too then. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And again, watch Kenny right here, Tim. Tell me if you think he's actually rushing the quarterback. This is what I'm talking about. Watch Kenny Clark.
No, he's occupying a gap.
He's
taking 2 guys out of the play, maintaining the hat count.
Yeah. So guys, when you hear me say touch spy, look at Kenny here. I know we're focused on Gary getting the sack. It's awesome and everything. But look at, let me actually show you guys. You probably can't tell who I'm talking about here. You got Kenny here playing a 3 tech. All right. You got Wyatt playing a 3 tech. So you actually got a double 3 tech here. Okay. Watch Kenny. And when people dog Kenny and say, hey, man, he can't rush the quarterback, right? This is what I'm talking about with a touch spy. Whichever one of these guys get a double team or both of them do, the chances of you beating a double team block are slim to none at the NFL level, especially an offensive line like Philly. So why not go ahead and protect against the quarterback scramble? So watch Kenny. This is a touch spy. You touch the blockers, right? Look at that double team. That's a +1 hat count, right? And then you spy the quarterback. There are people, mind you, Tim, former NFL players who will remain nameless that'll watch this and go, man, that's just horrible by Kenny. And they don't even understand that that's a touch spy.
Yeah.
And dumb redneck who's never played a snap of football in my life at that level. And I understand exactly what this
and notice how if Rashan doesn't beat his man, Kenny's in perfect position. Like, let's say Hurts was going to roll to the left there. I mean, Kenny's right where he's supposed to be.
Yeah. Coach Lynn says Kenny occupied 3 guys. That's a good point.
Yep.
Because you had the running back was even kind of aware. Look at the running back. Oh, yeah, okay, I guess I'm free now. But look at
Can
Gary.
we talk about Rashan flying in? Look at this tackle technique.
I know, I love it.
He
dude.
just he looked like he just like latched himself on.
You know what it looks like? It looks like Jacob on the pole at the club. Look at that.
Right, exactly. That's that technique. Both hands, both feet, right? That's how you do it.
Oh, man. Yeah, Coach Lynn points out center, guard, and running back all occupied by Kenny. So there you go. There's Rashawn's first sack of the season beating Lane Johnson. All right, here we are now. This one's funny now. This poor tackle. So first of all, you got Rashan in a wide 9, okay? So you see him out here in a wide 9. So you've got the right tackle and the tight end out here, and they do some kind of, cheat motion with the wide receiver. So the tight end is not blocking Gary. Watch this tackle. Watch how fast Gary gets off the line and watch what happens to the tackle, Tim. This is hilarious. Watch this. This is at 75% too. Keep in mind, this isn't in full speed. What's the tackle, Tim? And for those of you listening on the pod, he tries to kick step out there, and Gary's already around the bend, and he just busts his arse. Flat on his arse. So again, the first 2 sacks of the season for Gary, not that impressive because I guess it is though. He beats them both with speed. That dude didn't know whether crap or go blind.
Watch his helmet. As soon as he glances, watch the helmet. As soon as he starts looking at Rashan, he craps his pants and falls down.
Love it. Gary, and you can tell Gary was setting him up for that dip and rip. Look at him get. He was ready to dip and rip right there. Hell, I didn't.
And that's FBI too, right? Because Rashan knows that tight end's not going to jam him.
Yep.
He knows that tight end's releasing.
And look at who's right there closing in on the backside of Stroud. Look at LVN.
Yep. LVN.
Does that not look like Rashan Gary's one arm press right there?
Yep. Oh yeah, right to the shoulder. You're right.
And it should have been hands to the face too. They didn't call it though. So
Wow.
you see the compression there. Carl Brooks did a good job collapsing the pocket. Now, remember what we said about touch spy? Look at Kenny again.
Again.
All right. So
two
now,
blockers.
once again, Kenny is in a 2-tech this time. All right. So here's Kenny. Focus on Kenny. Tell me if you think he's rushing the quarterback, boys. Double team. See how he's just kind of glimpsing, right? It's like you could tell he's ready. He occupied a double team, and he's ready to bounce out here if Stroud is able to step up and try to escape, right? So, golly, the meat curtains comment, Ben, you're out of control, sir.
Yeah, I'm trying to ignore the chat right now. It's out of control.
I love it. Of course, we're talking about stripper poles, so we're not like that.
Yeah, we're no better.
I say we like it's you, but it was me. So, all right. So now you got Gary in a wide 9 again. This is against this is Chicago. Yes, Chicago. So this is Caleb Williams back there, right? So focus on Gary. Once again, you got Gary wide 9. I think this is Kenny or Carl Brooks. I can't tell. Playing the 2. You see what I'm saying? That they had Kenny. I believe that's Kenny right there. I could be wrong. This is what Kenny played the majority of the year when we were in our nickel 4-2-5. He's not playing a 3-tech. He's playing a 1, a 2, and a 2-I, right?
Yep.
And you would put typically that would be Devontae White. I don't know if it is on this rep playing the 3-tech. So when you hear us say we need a dominant 3-tech, this is what we're talking about right here. So whoever this is probably going to
Wyatt or that's Kenny for sure.
Let's roll it. Let's roll it here and see if we can catch a number.
That's
here.
Wyatt or Slayton.
Nope, that's Slayton. Yeah.
Yeah, Slayton. And
so they put Slayton. Tim, everybody thinks Slayton was just nose tackle, right? And by the way, he finished the year with an 8% pressure rate. That was second best amongst defensive tackles on the team. In this case, they put Slayton, TJ Slayton, in the 3-tech and Kenny in the 2, right?
Yep.
So definitely something to keep in mind. Now look at Kenny occupying a double team. It's supposed to be Rashan Gary chalk top, but Kenny's kind of getting highlighted the most. But tell me if you think Kenny's actually rushing the quarterback here.
No, he's doing his job.
Yep, exactly.
So that Rashan can do his job, which is drive that left tackle into oblivion.
Look at
take
that.
down the quarterback.
Just completely collapses the play. There's people like Rashan Gary can't rush the quarterback. Watch this.
Look at this. Bang.
That's a grown-ass man.
There it is. Left hand into the right shoulder of that tackle and just drive him back.
And then you force the left tackle to tackle his quarterback with Gary. Look at this.
Yep. And then Caleb's back there looking like this.
And look at Kenny being selfless, occupying the double team. Watch Kenny's reaction at the end of the play. Got him, baby.
Yeah, baby. Got him. That's right.
All right, next
If
play.
anybody forgot, this is a team sport, team game.
Exactly. So now we're going wide 9 left with Gary. So now he's back on the left side of the field. All right. And this is kind of a unique look because you got the 2 interior defensive linemen. This guy's playing a 5-tech. The other's playing shade. We call that shade. So you got a 9, a 5, a shade. You got Edgerrin Cooper mugging the 3-tech, mugging the B gap, if you will. Quay creeping up like it might be a dog blitz as well.
McDuff creeping up.
Over here. So essentially, guys, remember our 34 days?
Yep.
We would call a 34 jam. 2 components to a 34 jam. Somebody playing directly over the center and 5 people on the line of scrimmage. That's what you call a jam front, right? In this case, it's not a 34. It was a 4-3. And you're using your 2 backers to form that jam, if you will. So, all right, look at what it's going to be. Look at Quay. Bounce over. He's blitzing. Now look who's belling out. That ain't Cooper. Who is that? That wasn't Cooper. That was, is that, say, 55?
55's Enigbare.
So Enigbare was actually, check this out, guys. So he's the other defensive end. So he's actually standing like a backer. How cool is that? So you are in a nickel 4-2-5 is what you're in. And Enigbare, remember we talked about all year long, we said 55 drop, Tim, and we talked about the percentage in which he dropped in the coverage. This is a 55 drop play. Watch Enigbare, right? So you're only bringing 4, and this is where the radio – the idiots on Sports Talk Radio were saying, well, you had to blitz to hit home because your front 4 suck. You're only rushing 4. This isn't a blitz, Hoscat. It ain't. It's not. This is 55 drop. You notice McDuffie dropped out too. It's only a 4-man.
Notice pre-snap, Rashan and Kenny are the only guys with their hand in the dirt as well.
And when you're talking about still in a hat, Tim, look at 70 not blocking a soul.
You don't know what to do.
Yep, because you literally X'd him out of the play, and what you gave yourself was one-on-one, 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 one-on-one by showing that exotic jam front and then dropping those 2 guys.
One-on-one, one-on-one, 2 on none. That's what you get.
Yeah. Now let's go back to Gary, what we're supposed to be watching here, right? Let's watch him work. Straight arm, dip, rip, pokes the ball out. See it?
Yep.
Very, very subtle, but he forces the fumble right. This is a strip sack. Bang, knocks it out. And then, of course, they come in and clean it up. Quay finishes the play. Look at Gary, how fired up he is. Again, the other cam, you could see, the TV copy, you could see he actually gets his hand on the ball. Watch Gary. Bang, being aware, smack the elbow, knock the ball out, kills the play.
Love it.
So there's another sack by Rashan Gary, who doesn't know how to rush the quarterback. All right, here we
are.
Have
we seen a single play yet with Rashan in anything other than a 9 or a wide 9?
Nope. Ever. Yep.
Love
and
it.
what you're doing, Tim, is you're isolating them, right? You're forcing a one-on-one matchup, essentially. Now, this case, they may let the running back help, but what you're going to show here with this front is you've got a 4-tech, you got a shade. Shade, guys, is what you would call like a 0 eye. There's no 0 eye. We just call it shade. It means you're playing the inside shoulder of the center, okay? And then out here, I would call that a 5-tech. You're playing the outside shoulder of the tackle. Gary's in a wide 9. Everything here is designed for Gary to be in a one-on-one situation, or they're going to make the running back chip Gary. Okay, let's see what happens here. Out of the wide 9, little cheat motion, no worries. Look at Gary, going to work back inside. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my goodness.
Just simple. Keep the feet moving. Jab step outside. Work back in. Look at Quay. Take him away. So Quay is actually going to play selfless here, hit the tackle, take his guy, occupy a double team, and free up Gary.
And who is that playing right tackle?
That would have been Panay Sewell, sir.
Right. So that's not just some run-of-the-mill offensive lineman.
Not somebody from Podunk University, right?
That's right.
So, again, Quay, great job here. Gary, great footwork, athleticism, getting back across the formation, getting sacked.
That's like hands, feet, and FBI, and speed, and power all in one play. You got to love it.
Yep, here we are again, Tim. Look what he's in. Wide 9,
baby.
All right. So now you got Carl Brooks playing 5-tech. Once again, Kenny playing 2-eye. I'm telling you guys, Kenny was our nose tackle last year in our nickel defense. That's essentially what it was. And then, of course, you got a wide 9 opposite side. Let's watch Gary on this play. See if they run any kind of game. They do not. Gary's just going to straight bull rush all the way back in the backfield. Shout out to Carl Brooks, too. Let Carl Brooks disrupted a little rip move.
Yep.
Bang.
I love Rashawn's pursuit there, too. Like, you see he's trying to get around. He can't, and it's like, screw it. If I can't get around you, I'm going through you. And if I can't go through you, I'm taking you with me.
Yeah.
Love it.
Great. And you could tell it was one of those things where Gary just works right back to the inside. Carl wins outside. Great dip and rip there. Now, look on the other side. Enigbare
and Kenny.
And Kenny, they're going to run a little stunt here, right? They're going to run a ET. Yep, an ET. An ET, guys, is real simple. The end goes first, right? End, which is the E, and the tackle goes second to loop around. That's called an ET stunt. So watch Enigbare. Now check out Enigbare. He's not trying to get to the quarterback, Tim. Watch him right here. He's playing spy again.
Yep.
See him just kind of looking for him to try to scramble out of the pocket.
Yep. It's like he's trying to like get across the gaps so he can maintain his assignment. It may look like a rush, on the surface, but yeah, I think you're right there. That's clearly he's not blitzing there.
Yeah. So now we're back against Chicago. Wide 9 for Gary again. Kenny playing a 2-eye or a 3-tech. I'd call it a 2-eye. It's closer to a 2-eye than a 3-tech. But again, 3-tech's very, very similar to 2-eye. So again, 3-tech is a 3-tech and a 2-eyes. You're lining up between the guard and the tackle here. So Kenny's in the 3 this time, and now you got TJ Slayton playing a 2-eye as well. So really it's a double 2-eye. This is kind of one of those tight looks, those tight fronts we talk about. So double wide 9. Let's watch Gary off the other side, see if there's any kind of game or if he just wins outright. He's just going to win outright. I love this too. They said, well, Caleb dropped the ball. Boys, it doesn't matter if Caleb dropped the ball or not. Watch how quick Gary gets back there.
Well, let's be real. That was a kind of high and right snap, but yeah, I mean,
no doubt about it. He bobbled the snap, but Caleb ain't getting that ball out before Gary hits him.
That's irrelevant to the play. Rashan had him beat, and the hold at the end uncalled, of course.
Yeah. Now with the rip move though, see he does a slight rip move. They're allowed to hold. They changed the rule. So if you do a rip move where you rip that arm up, they're allowed to grab a hold of you. That is something. Now listen, do I agree with it? No.
And that is a rip. I just saw it. I thought it was a swim, but it's a
It
rip.
still
Yeah.
it still gets called sometimes. Don't get me wrong, but that's how it was designed to the rule change. We have to go quick here. We're way over. I got a thunderstorm rolling through. My pups are losing their mind. All right, up next, Kenny now is closer to a 5 tech. Tim, you see?
Here we go. Finally, let's go. Not
a
just
5
wide 9s. Let's go.
You got Carl Brooks in the 1 tech, Devontae White in the 3, LVN in the wide 9 opposite side. So here we go with Gary in the 5 tech. Let's watch him. Now we're into the run plays. Look at Gary get inside. Look how quick he gets leverage here against the run. This is where Gary really shined last year. Watch him. He'll engage, bang, work inside, completely stops a run.
So good.
Edgerrin Cooper right there for the play, too. Watch Ed shoot his shot right here. Stop, start, shoot, bang. So great play there. Good run defensive rep there from – now here we go. Look at where Gary's at, Tim.
This is what I'm talking about right here. This is what you were mentioning earlier, right? Kicking inside a little bit.
We got him at a 4I/3 tech right here, baby. 4I/3. So I think I know what's going on. I think my mother-in-law is at the door and he's letting in the house. That's why the dogs are going crazy. Tim, can you hold the fort down for just a second? Hit the chat. Everybody, fire questions in the chat real quick. I gotta go let my mother-in-law in or I'm going to be in trouble. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, we're going to keep this play on pause, but if anyone's got any questions on what we talked about so far, I see we've got Ed Madden in the chat. This is a great point. I can see Oliver giving big O tackles fits in obvious passing situations. I think that's a very, very well said point. We'll see what happens going into to camp, how they're going to utilize Colin Oliver, but I would definitely agree with that. We've got Mac and Cheese podcast. Are you ready for your surprise? I am. I think. I don't know. How can I be ready if it's a surprise? So I'm as ready as I can be. And thank you guys. Really appreciate all the love and support. And as a matter of fact, this is a great time to bring this up. We do have the giveaway coming up. I know Clayton has talked about this a lot, but make sure you guys go to the link you see on your screen right here. And I can also pull up the image somewhere for the giveaway. Clayton, we're doing that tomorrow, correct?
That's correct. Tomorrow live on the show, yeah.
Excellent. Awesome.
Yeah, and we already got everybody's names in and everything. Thanks to everyone who donated. It's awesome. Raising some money for a good cause. I know we got Mac in the house. I apologize. I'm out of breath. I ran downstairs like, your boy ain't ran like that since the baseball days.
Ed Madden's like, what's Tim's surprise, Mac? It's like they can't tell us.
Yeah,
then it wouldn't be a surprise.
Exactly right. All right, back to the tape. Sorry about that, gang. So, again, we get to the most exciting part, and I had to run offline. So, Gary in a 4I here, Tim, a 4I to a 3 tech. How cool is that? We've seen him at wide 9 and 5. Now he's popped inside to a
This
3.
is what we're thinking we're going to see a little bit more of this year, right? A little bit more of this peppered in.
If it depends on whether Baron Sorrell is ready to hit the ground running. You know, like – and Brenton Cox Jr., if they trust Brenton Cox Jr. to go, hey, let's get in more reps, and maybe you can kick Gary inside a little bit. Now, listen, if Kenny's healthy and Wyatt, you don't want to take those guys off the field.
Right.
But let's say somebody goes down with an injury, God forbid. We know it's going to happen, though. It happens all the time, right? Guys are going to get banged up and miss
part
a
of
game.
Football. It's part of the game.
Then you've got a little bit of versatility with, especially in a 4-3 defense, with Gary. This is what Gary did in college right here, guys. This is what he did. He played mostly on the interior. I mean, he played kind of a 1 to a 4I tech at Michigan.
Yep.
But pretty cool. Let's roll the tape here, see what happens. So it's gonna be a running play. Look at Gary. Look at the guard already, dude. Or no, the tackle. I'm sorry. Look at Gary at the point of attack against a run. That's not how that play is designed to work. Look at him just absolutely mauled. Look at the tackle, guys.
First of all, you block the tackle into the guard's left leg. Almost took out the guard.
And look at Gary right here.
And look at poor Aaron Jones trying to figure out what the hell to do.
Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about when people are like, I hate to keep harping on. I gotta get better at that. It just drives me crazy, man, because these people claim to be professionals. And Gary he didn't deserve the Pro Bowl. And it's like, what about the run defensive snaps? Well, what about him? This is what about him. Watch him dog walk the tackle and make the hit on the running back. Like, guys, that's not normal. That's not just an average rep there.
Hey, can we? I know this is Rashan's chalk talk, but can we just look at number 20 Javon Bullard.
Yeah, I'm
Because,
telling you, dude, in the slot,
like,
right?
yeah, man, I love it. This is how I love seeing Bullard play.
Actually,
Downhill.
just playing box safety. I apologize. Yeah.
Look at this.
Yep.
I mean, if Rashan misses for some reason, or hey, we've known Aaron Jones to slip tackles before, right? So say Jonesy bounces it out, you ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. And
We
you know
got Bullard in there.
the thick clip we play, that's who Halfley was talking about, was Bullard. Yep. He's thick. That's what
I
he's
told
talking
you, man.
about.
He's a linebacker trapped in a safety's body, man. I'm convinced.
So I like him a lot better as a box safety or in the nickel, me personally, for this reason right here.
Yep.
But again, like you said, though, Gary, man, Gary blows that play completely up, man.
Yep.
Good footwork.
That's what the great players do, right? They do their job so good, it make everyone else on the team look good too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here we go. This is somewhat of a goal line situation here at the 4-yard line, or maybe even the 3.5 yard line, somewhere around there, right? So you see Gary playing outside shoulder of the tackle, right? So here we would call this, I call this a 6 tech. There's no tight end to truly determine, but to me, he's not on the outside shoulder of the tackle. He would be even with the tight end that was attached there. And they've actually got an extra player out there too, right? They got their wing back out there. So let's see what happens here. It's kind of a goal line situation. They're going to put an extra hat over there, right? So they're going to toss play out to Aaron Jones. And what they're looking to do here, guys, with Aaron Jones, what they're hoping for is to get him running horizontal and just look for a cutback lane, right? And just punch that thing in. Watch Gary. Look at Gary.
Engage with where?
Look at him, how he moves horizontally, and now he's on the ball carrier. Run stop.
Shout out to Quay and Keyshawn too, getting over there.
Yep. Look at Xavier McKinney too. Watch X all the way over. He reads this whole thing.
Yeah. And this is what I talk about with Halfley's defense, man. Like Rashan, phenomenal, right? But we're not relying on one guy on these plays. I mean, the entire unit is moving together.
Yeah.
Nobody's giving up a cutback lane. Nobody is giving up their gap discipline on this play.
Yeah. Again, man, Gary's just an absolute monster. That's that RAS we talk about, right?
Yep.
And I'm telling you, man, that knee's stronger than it's ever been from that ACL.
Yeah, and with a freakishly fast comeback too. Let's not overshadow that. I mean, Rashan got back from that very, very quick.
Yep. So here we got the Cardinals. I think this is, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's Mr. Xbox right there at quarterback. I recognize him.
Look, coming in with 12 personnel. So you got Gary lined up again. Let's count it off here. 0, 2, 4, 6. He is in an 8 tech right here. Right? Let's watch him.
Yep.
See if it's a running play. All right, stretch. Look at Gary.
Double team.
Look at him setting the edge, and then still gets the arm back.
And then off the block, right? Refusing to be blocked.
Just keep your legs moving. That's one of those plays you die slowly. That's your goal, right? Just don't get on the ground. Don't get on the ground. Hold the point of attack.
Yep.
He makes a one-arm tackle while he's being blocked. And it's all about getting outside leverage. Watch him get outside, stay outside, set the edge. Quay, great job of Quay there, backside pursuit too. Watch Quay come in here. Watch number 7 now. Again, patient. Yep. Bang, finish it off.
You see the progression in Quay's game there. Maybe the year before he stops and then he's caught. Here his feet never stop moving.
Yep. Keyshawn in there trying to get a little bit physical too. Watch Key come into the box here. See him, 25.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He ain't afraid to hit that guard in the chest.
Look, I love it.
Yep. All right. So another Rashan Gary run stop. All right, here we are again. Now we are in the 7 tech. All right, outside shoulder of that tight end, that Y off. Okay, they're in a double sidecar. This is kind of their pony package. They got number 86 back there with Joe Mixon. All right, so let's watch Gary on this play. Who's the ball going to? Mixon, right? This is Joe Mixon. So look at Gary getting inside leverage, right? And now reading the running back, shedding. That poor tight end never had a chance. Dude.
Wow. Is that Schultz? Who is that? Who's the tight end again?
Looks like it might be. I can't tell. Stoner, something like that.
I'm trying to remember who that was. I remember this game though. We did this on the Chalk Talk for that day.
Yep. And again, Gary, just a great rep, man. Watch him. Quick burst, inside, engage, shed, bang.
Yep. You have to watch it 3 times in slow motion because it happens so quick you'll miss it.
Right. He's really, really good at attacking the run. All right, here we are again. We'll call it a wide 9. All right, so now you got Slayton playing the 1 tech, and I think that's Kenny now playing the 3 tech. All right, but let's watch Gary here off the outside. Going to be another running play, little cheat motion. That tries to hold people at. They're looking to basically, this is going to be a zone left. This is to give a little eye candy, get the backers flowing. You see them all take a step to the left. Even Bullard did, right?
Yep.
So you get the defense flowing in one direction, and then we're going zone right, right? You can see everybody kind of blocking zone right, but then you got a sift block right here too. So watch the tight end is looking to sift back. Notice nobody's blocking Gary. That's by design. You're trying to steal a gap, steal a hat, and then have the sift clean it up. Let's see what happens with Gary. Gary cuts all the way back across the formation, still makes the tackle.
Another refusing to be blocked, right? It's one thing to get off a block. It's another thing to go, hey, I'm not even going to let you touch me. I mean, he just took the blocker out of the play. There's no point to the sift. There was no one for him to block.
Ed Madden
he barely touched Kenny at the end.
Yeah. Ed Madden in the chat says, seems like Gary read that play pre-snap, did his homework. I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of things that he does that he doesn't get credit for. I mean, and it's always across the formation to make the tackle.
He's so fluid too, man. Like
this is why he had a higher run stop rate than both Max Crosby and TJ Watt last year.
Yep.
Here we are now.
Wide 9 again.
Yep, wide 9. Slayton 1 tech, Devontae White 3 tech, Gary playing we'll call it a 5 tech, outside shoulder of the tackle on that side. Let's watch Gary. Run and play. Gary extends, sheds, right there for the tackle. I think that was McDuffie in there with him too. Nothing fancy there, just real simple. All right. All right, so here's Gary outside again. Now he's playing a 7 tech. Look at shed the sift. Everybody rallied to the football right there. Love it. All right, here we are again. This is against the 49ers. 7 tech, outside shoulder of George Kittle. They're going to hand the ball to McCaffrey. Let's see what happens. All right, he gets now they pull. Look who they pulled. I think that might be our very own Aaron Banks.
That's Banks pulling.
This
65.
is Aaron Banks pulling and looking to block Gary. All right, let's watch it. Gary just a little Olay, bang, making the tackle. Hate to see Banks on the ground like that. Me no like you that, Jan.
I'll tell you what I'm seeing is how quick Banks got over there. That's a big boy moving that fast, man.
So now let's count it off. Got Gary on the right side from the offense's perspective. 0, 2, 4, 6 eyes, what we're going to call it, all right? So he's on a 6-eye tech. This is Miami, Thanksgiving night. Look at him hold the point of attack.
Oh, man, beautiful.
Stuffed. Yeah. Again, watch how he extends his arms, Tim. He's going to get the first step, hands inside, extend, shed, bang. Great goal line stand there by Gary.
And Rashan makes this look so easy. It's not.
Yeah. Not at all. All right, so here we go. Now, another goal line situation. This is against Detroit. So look at who they put in the middle here, boys. We got Slayton and Kenny in a double 1 tech, right? You got LB
and Rashan. Look at this.
3. Yep. So look at that 4-man front there. That's really, really compact. You got basically it's I guess you would call it a 3-11-3, right? So a 31-13 kind of look here with the tech. Gary on the left side from the defense's perspective. Ball snap. Look at Gary shed. Look at all the bodies on the ground.
Yep.
These 2 guys just tried to block Gary. And look at where they're at.
And they're out of the play already. And
look at where Gary's going. Unbelievable. Look at this. In there to help Kenny. I think that was Kenny make the tackle. Let's watch it again. Watch Gary at the point of attack, guys. Literally just did a swim move on a run play on 2 blockers. Whoop. Get on your
Kenny with the swim too. Got little to sneak in there.
Great rep by Kenny. Actually, no, Kenny a little dip there, right?
Well, yeah, a little dip move.
Yeah. Watch him. Good off the snap. Gary the swim. They finished. It looked like he might have carried Kenny into the end zone too. If
and
Gary
then look, every other Green Bay Packer rallies to the ball carrier. Look at
X.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white jerseys.
Watch LVN.
Eric Stokes in there at the end to just celebrate, of course.
LVN hustling.
Oh, I love it.
All right. This is how you end up with the second best run defense in the league right here. All right, so here we go now. You got, I think that's Colby Wooden. They got playing shade. You got Kenny playing a 4-tech. You got Enigbare playing 3-tech this time. Gary, wide 9. Switch Gary off the wide 9 left. Toss play. Guys, in what world does this guy
this play? Yeah.
Exactly. Look at the pursuit. Relentless. Bang. You know how easy it would have been. I'm taking this play off. It's out of my area. I'll make sure he doesn't cut back.
Yep.
Ain't happening.
And again, why does he get there? Because look at everyone else on the right side of your screen doing their damn job. There's nowhere for the ball carrier to go.
Yep. Eric Wilson.
Yep.
Adrian Cooper there at the end.
Yep. Coop in there.
Cooper looks down like, who was that just came flying in like a missile? That was Rashan Gary.
Really good rep for Colby Wooden too there.
Yep. Again, just working in unison together. All right, up next, let's see here. Almost to the end, guys. We went way over tonight. I'm in trouble, Tim.
Uh-oh. Sorry, Mandy.
Wide 9 look here with Gary on the right. Look at him attack, hold the point, shed, make the tackle. He blows that play up by himself. Watch this. But I was told that Gary and Van Ness can't shed blocks of a tight end.
He just shedded this one. Look at this. Threw him like a rag doll. Get off me.
No. Tackle. All right. This might be the final play here. We're against Chicago late in the year. Another wide 9 look for Gary. And now you got Kenny back to, I think that's Kenny back to the 2, wide at the 3, wide 9 for Gary. They're in a pistol set, running back directly behind the short gun set, hand it off. Look at Gary at the point of attack. What I love about Gary is he gets the first step, and look at his base. Look how squared up his base is right. He's just holding the point of attack, read the running back, finish the play.
CV in there. Yeah. Great work.
There you go, boys. Rashan Gary Chalk Talk. So you've seen the 7.5 sacks, right? Or the 7 sacks. I couldn't find the half in there. You've seen a good chunk of the run stops. When people say, why are they paying him all that money? That's why they're paying him all that money. You know how easy it'd be? I want my sacks. No, he's doing exactly what the defense is calling for him to do and playing his role and doing it really, really well. Yep. Now, listen, am I saying that Gary is a top 3 edge rusher? Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. I don't even know if I'm saying – I would say he's a top 5 edge rusher. But anyone who pretends like Rashan Gary is not a top 10 edge rusher, which is what he's being paid to do, they're just hating.
Yep.
They're drinking the Haterade. So
I agree.
All right, Tim, anything else, bub?
No, this was great, man. I know we went over, but I'm glad we did, man.
Yeah. AFAM says, Mandy, AFAM is single. He knows she's about to be on the market when I go downstairs. Coach Lynn, nice work, guy. Hey, Coach, thank you so much, man. You have no idea. Everybody in the chat, and specifically Coach Lynn having the coaching background, man. Yeah. It's awesome to cross-check what we're seeing on tape and all these things that we talk about, the fundamentals of football. It's nice to be able to, hey, Coach, do you see that the same way? Again, nobody's in here trying to act smarter than we are.
I appreciate it. I feel like every other show I'm learning something from Coach.
Yep, exactly. So, and 2-0 for this. Ask the important question. Who's Joe Barry? So, all right, guys. We will be back tomorrow. Max says, hey, PTA, we love you guys. So excited for the giveaway tomorrow. We'll have all members in the chat. Also so excited for the video. At least you got it finally. Yeah, we're going to play a video from everybody over at Mac when we do the giveaway tomorrow night. And we'll do the show. I don't know what time yet. Tim, we may go normal time. I'm going to check with Mandy, see if we got any plans. I can tell you how many times she's like, nope, I'm busy. Got to do this. But I think we're clear for 6:30 p.m. Central Time tomorrow. So if this was your first time tuning in tonight, thank you all for making PTA a part of your evening. Hit that subscribe button. Hit like. It's the type of content you're going to get all year long. We have a lot of fun along the way. Everybody in the chat, thank you all so much for contributing. You make this show what it is. Everybody on the pod, thank you so much for supporting us over there. And hopefully we describe that Chalk Talk to the level where you could kind of visualize in your mind's eye while you're out there on the ground or traveling or whatever you're doing, listening to the show, and understand exactly what was happening on the field. So we'll see y'all tomorrow. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world, and go Pack Go.
Here we go.
We're out. Bye, guys.